Hello, I'm Stevie. Hello.
Hello, how you doing? Can you see my growler? I'm Sean McBay from Sandstone.
Oh, you have to start again.
Nah, go start again.
Hi, this is Stevie McLaughlin.
Sean McBay.
I'm in a McNaught.
And welcome to Epsilon Sky Launch Party. Whoa!
Take it.
Well, I know why. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not one of the songs that you actually had the chords?
I had a few chords. I think I know why was one where we had it ready for. Was it cultural? No.
It's been there. It's been about a long time.
It's been there. We didn't actually. I think we recorded a verse and a chorus, and then we done nothing else because I think we had chosen what the album was going to be for Delta Rivian at the time. So it just lay there, and then for this album we got around to finishing it, and we worked a lot on changing. Like I'll bring chords to Stevie, and he's never stuck with the chords I've given him, ever.
Yeah. No, but I. I do remember it was one of those songs where we pretty much knew straight off the bat that the chorus was rocking, but there was an issue with the verses, and it just took me at the time we were working on it, I just couldn't work it out. When we came back to it the second time, then I went, oh, that's it, and then it all came together.
Like I made a big deal the last interview about saying that we'd struggled with the second chord, and somebody probably go, so you played an F.
I know. Sometimes the solution is really straightforward. And you go, why didn't I think of that? But it's always easy after the fact to realise that a simple solution's the best.
Yeah, so that one got done, and that was pretty quick, wasn't it?
The thing I really like about that song now is the video. We really love that we got fans involved in it. That was your idea, man.
Yep. Creative. Very creative.
He just came out with it.
My dog also.
That's right. At the very end. Rest in peace.
It's one of the things happens all the time. We always try and brainstorm, come up with ideas, and 99 times out of 10 it's a bad idea, so we don't do it. But no, it's like
no, but it was good. I enjoyed it, but it was good.
Thank you to everybody who contributed.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody.
That was amazing.
That was great.
And the second track is Cuts to You.
Yep, Cuts to You. Another song from a few years ago as well, where, same as a lot of our songs, I just came down with the chords on an acoustic guitar and recorded it. I think we would just literally, it was the first time I ever stood at the microphone with a guitar, wasn't it? We just recorded it. I think we were going to go out that night, weren't we? We were on our way out. I just recorded that, and I don't even know if that exists, but put that down. It stayed in the studio archives for a few years, and then for this album, then we pulled it out again because there was always one I knew was good enough to be on any album, and then I think we did actually record a version of it, didn't we? And put out a lyric video for it, and then for this album, then we got it done properly and got the video done for it, and it's only us three in that video. The other two weren't available. As you can see, they're available today again. So
we're such an international band. It's not very often we're all in the same room together.
He's never met Tom, anyways.
I don't even know his name.
The two things about that song that really stand out for me, one is I think we were both very influenced by Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy at the time.
Yeah.
And there's a wee bit of that vibe in that song, which I think is quite interesting. And the other thing is I think the bridge is probably the most impressive bit of singing I've ever heard you do, man. I think it's awesome.
Thank you very much. It was the middle bit, the middle eight on that too. Was when
that's what I mean.
We got everything else recorded, and I didn't actually have that part wrote, so it took another month for me to come up with that one. So that was pretty good. And it didn't even take it that long to even get that all recorded either. Once we got it down. Well, I say that I just record the vocals and I go home and leave Steve over to sort of the rest.
And that video as well, it was you aiming that recce'd all the locations.
Also a very good video. Thank you to everybody who contributed.
That's true.
Thanks, lads.
So it was a fun day in the wind, playing drums on the beach.
Playing drums on the beach, rocking out in the woods.
That's right, the woods.
Yeah.
We got strange looks.
We got a good walking shot too. Watch the video. That's to you on YouTube.
I know. Like the video. What's the matter with you?
Subscribe.
Who the fuck's Sean McBay? Sean, where do I start with Sean? Sean was the singer from one of my favourite bands when I was growing up. So I was very, very nervous to get to work with Sean when I first started to work with him. Because he has his stage presence, he has his presence on stage and he has that persona. And so when I met him in real life, that is what I seen and what I saw, and it turned out he was just a fucking lovely guy, and me and him were so alike, and we got on. And I honestly think I wouldn't, tours can be very difficult and very hard. You're away from home for all that time, and you're constantly on the move, you're constantly working, you're constantly drinking, and I honestly feel like I couldn't have done it at times without Sean, because Sean kept me laughing and kept me going, and we just bounced off each other so much.
Me and Sean have like a brotherly type relationship. We both like to make each other laugh. I think that is what keeps us sane on the road. That's what keeps us going, and it's one of the things I enjoy most about being in Sandstone.
It shows that he's passionate, and he has always been very passionate about Sandstone and about our music, and that's a great thing to have in a friend and a partner in crime. It wouldn't be uncommon for myself and Sean to sit up into the early hours of the morning with a few beers, listen to Megadeth, listen to Killswitch Engage, and talk about music all night. We don't always agree, but life would be boring if that was the case. I think somewhere in our hot-headed disagreements is the passion and the ability for Sandstone to have our own unique spin, because we both make each other better than the sum of the parts. We've always had an ability to draw from each other and inspire each other to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
I think you're looking at music that's going to be really melodic, acoustic based songs. When we first started Sandstone, we used to write songs on acoustic guitars and then just build from there. When we technically still do that, so that you can always strip our songs down and play the songs acoustically. And over the years, me and Stevie have always did that. If we can play a song on acoustic guitar just sitting together, then we can work from there and decide how much we're going to build on them. And if you look at Sandstone over the years, then you're definitely going to be able to see songs that come from that kind of background. And to me, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at hooks and melodies and that kind of thing. That through the years, I think we've developed a style of the way that we actually build on acoustic songs. The emphasis for me is always is the song catchy. I do have a particular appreciation for pop music when it comes to hooks and choruses, and even sort of big 80s music and ballads and that kind of thing. And anything that sticks in your head to me is good music. Well, one of the songs on Epsilon Sky came about like that because the first single, I Know Why, came around like that because I Know Why was meant to be ready for Cultural Dissonance, but whatever was going on around that time, then by the time that because we have a lot of songs in the back burner all the time, so there was that song particularly that we just didn't actually get to writing, because as you say, when it comes right down to what we have in the back burner, a lot of things are literally just me and you throwing down scratch vocals and scratch guitars and ending up thinking that just because it's 9 o'clock it's time to drink, so we have to that needs to be shelved. And that's what happened to I Know Why. So when we pulled I Know Why out, then I think we both liked the chorus and we just got to work on the verses, and that's how that one came around. So this one is definitely for me our best effort, definitely, when it comes to the actual songs themselves, when it comes to the things I'd be proud of, what I spoke about before about the hooks and the lyrics and the catchiness of songs. And I definitely think that it ticks all the boxes that I look for anyway. Again, there's other albums that we've done that definitely do that as well, but this one for me right now is the one that I am definitely really excited about other people hearing. But I've listened to a lot of those songs for a long time, and because what you're hearing isn't, if I let you hear the first version of Cuts to You, we probably still have that recorded somewhere. The night I just played it on an acoustic guitar and we recorded that, just again we had to go drinking. So that just got recorded, and that's probably a good example when you hear what I bring to Stevie and what it turns out being is there's a long journey for these songs, because I don't particularly write lyrics in the sort of conventional way of taking a subject matter and then staying within a narrative in that way. I don't really do that at all. I could take a narrative for a line and then move narrative for another line, and to me it makes sense. I can listen to it and sort of see all just a wave of colours, because I think I wrote Made Up when I was about 22.
That's going to be the third.
That's the third single, and that was another one too. Whenever we started Sandstone, we just had so many songs that were on the go, that Made Up and I Know Why and songs like that just weren't ones that were picked up to actually be worked on at the time. We had so many, and these ones now are the only ones are being picked up again. And that one for me, you read the lyrics in that one, I think they're pretty obvious. That it's about a relationship breakup and
that kind of thing. And but if my aim when it comes to writing songs and lyrics is to literally have it to the point where I struggle to explain it, because then it means that if I struggle to explain it, then there's a conversation to be had, so that other people can say, well, I think it could be about this. And if anybody says to me it's about nothing or it's about everything, then that's the achievement I'm looking for. If someone says I know what it's about, then I don't think I've achieved what I'm looking for, because that's not what I try and do. What I do now when it comes to when I write lyrics, that I've really changed all that much. You know, I hear people saying, "Oh, if you do this and you do that," and I actually think, I mean, I wrote my first song when I was about 12. Do you know? I mean, I learned 2 songs on a guitar and I wrote a song. You know, I've always wanted to be able to write songs and write lyrics. You know what I mean? So, and I have my own way of doing it, even though it might give me more work to do instead of just doing it the conventional way. But Made Up is, to me, I just think Made Up works. Made Up's a good song. It's got a good hook. It's got a good chorus. It's got great guitar playing. It's a song that would have made it on any one of our other albums if we had it ready. It's that simple.
Right.
I'm trying to remember back to the old studio whenever we were recording I Know Why as well. Back then it was the second chord. Remember the time we were trying to work out the second chord for months on end. We just couldn't decide how, because it just didn't have any feeling at all. We always had the chorus. Man, I remember having the chorus from early on, and the chorus was fine. You know, the chorus is the only thing that got it recorded, really, and once it got recorded, then we always had the problem of trying to make the verses work, and that's how that came about. Worn Soul was one that was just as you said there now, was just literally Stevie sent me some guitar tracks and of some stuff that he thought would be good for another album, and out of all the stuff he sent me, Worn Soul was the one that was one of the first ones that I wrote a vocal melody for, and then wrote the lyrics for. Came down, Stevie hadn't heard any of it at all, and put me on the mic, and we recorded that day, and that's what you hear on the album. Tides of Opinion, when we finally got Tides of Opinion done, it was like, I mean, I would be, even now I listen back to Tides of Opinion, it definitely takes me back to one of probably the happiest periods of being in Sandstone. Like, I've only been in one band. Like, I left school to start Sandstone, and Tides of Opinion is definitely like the first love of the whole thing. Like, but songwriting wise, it is clear that you can tell really the ones that were mine, and then the ones that are Stevie's. And I don't really think that that's what we really wanted to be, because it would sort of keep us. You know, we didn't really want to write Tides of Opinion again whenever we went to write Purging in the Past. So, you know, the closer we got and the more trust that we had in each other, that we could actually, you know, because we don't sit down together and write songs. We tried doing that before, but I think it was me that couldn't do it, because I could literally take 4 months to write a verse. You know, I have to admit that it takes me a long time to actually commit to anything, because I'm a bit of a, like, I wouldn't say perfectionist, like, but I definitely will not settle for anything that I don't believe is my absolute best effort when it comes to writing lyrics. And I'm not saying that all my lyrics are absolutely fantastic, because they're not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that at the time it was definitely, of all the 20 verses that I wrote for Worn Soul, the one you hear is the best one I had, in my opinion. And that's how I do it, and that's why it takes me so long. So I couldn't sit down. I mean, when we were writing Tides of Opinion and things, and some of the songs that didn't make it on there, is probably because I can't sit there and just write a verse off the top of my head, because it wouldn't be our best effort. It definitely wouldn't be, and I don't want my best effort in being on Sandstone Records, you know. So that's why the collaboration thing in our band has to be definitely on a long time scale, because, you know, Stevie works by himself when it comes to writing guitar stuff, and I wouldn't be hanging over his ear trying to, you know, speed him up. And if he sends me stuff that he's happy with, that he thinks is good enough to go on a record, then, you know, I have to have enough respect for it to actually make sure that I'm going to come down with something that matches what I believe to be, you know, the best that we can do. And the best that we can do is definitely me taking my time with the vocal melody first of all, because I'll not even try and write a lyric before I think the vocal melody is good enough. So if the vocal melody is good enough, then I've got the trouble in of trying to make English words fit into it, and as we spoke before about, and that's why it takes me so long, you know. But I enjoy the process. Cuts to You was just a song that I think I wrote I think I wrote the verses, the cuts to you, just on an acoustic guitar. Because the no way to it, I used to write. I mean, probably cuts to you was probably right on the heels of Purge in the Past going out as well. Where any songwriter tell you lift an acoustic guitar and play a few chords and try to just sing anything over it. And I used to do that as well. Like, don't sing anything in English, just singing blah blah blah, just to get a vocal melody happening. And that's where cuts to you started. Where I had the verses on it pretty early enough with the chords, and then I didn't commit too much to the music side of it then, as long as I had the chords down, because as I said, I would just trust Stevie to just take it wherever it goes. If I can come down and sing the song to Stevie without using any instruments at all, then I think we're going to get the best out of it, because he knows where he's going.
Track 3 is the video we just finished filming there recently, where you're playing chess with yourself.
Playing myself.
Worn Soul.
Video 3 as well. Thank you to everybody who contributed.
So,
Yes, and also thank you to everybody that contributed.
I'm going to say about the video to that song, I want to apologise to Stevie, because when we shot it, Stevie had to stay in the room with me while I recorded the drums, and we had to do about 50 takes, and that man's ears were shot.
It was loud.
But it turned out nice.
It was very loud. I kept thinking about that movie, Whiplash, all the way through it.
I was ready for Stevie almost to reassemble it in my head. Almost.
Yeah, that's one of the tracks where
I let you drink on this, or?
you could do whatever you want, Mark.
Bang flat!
That's one of the tracks where I literally just recorded a demo of the music and sent it to you, isn't it?
Worn Soul, aye. So Worn Soul was one where I think you sent me a pile of stuff, and I loved the music and what turned out to be Worn Soul, so I wrote the vocal melody for that, and then took it on a wee while then with the lyrics, and I think it turned out great. I think a few reviews have already come out for the album, and a few people have said that it sounds pretty different from our usual, my usual vocal approach, which it does, like, but I think it sounds pretty good. And the video too, you done a good job in the video too. Stevie produces all the videos. We just starred in the video. that too. The chest thing was that your idea? Stevie's
That
idea.
was Stevie's idea. That's good.
It was head frying. It was absolutely head frying because it's so confusing to edit then because I had to keep cutting it back and forward between the different takes.
I know, because I can't play chess. So
As you can see in the video, when it comes out.
No.
When's it coming out?
no, you can't see in the video. I can't play chess.
There's
Because
a-
that's what
There's a wee Easter egg on it, you see, because Sean is playing himself, right? So I taught him how to play a game called Fool's Mate, which is the shortest game of chess you can play. So the wee Easter egg is if you're trying to compete against yourself, it's a fool's game.
because that's what the song's meant to be about.
See?
Move swiftly to your next shopping experience and don't hang around here.
Track 4 is Fracture Time.
Nothing to say about Fracture Time.
That's fine.
Nothing.
Why mention it?
Keep going.
Yeah.
Stevie, I've known Stevie now about maybe over 20 years. Is it over 20 years, Stevie?
Yeah.
So, but I think we met at a jam session one night and started talking about writing songs together, and then we started writing songs together, and pretty quickly we got together our first EP, which we put out pretty pretty quickly after that. We've been writing songs together ever since. Definitely when it comes to songwriting, he's probably the only person I trust to write along with me, and that's why he's the only person I write with. I never have wrote with. So yeah, he's my songwriting partner.
Stevie. So Stevie McLaughlin to me is he's one of my best friends, and I think he's an absolute genius. And I owe a lot of my musical ability to Stevie, because when I joined the band with Stevie, I basically learned most of the stuff I learned on guitar, because I didn't even play guitar solos before I joined Sandstone. So Stevie taught me a lot. It was like having 10 years of free guitar lessons. But if you ever look at my equipment, everything's like a carbon copy of what Stevie has. So anything I do, all my recording gear at home, the way I record, my guitars, even my fucking guitar pedals, everything is stuff, it's the same things that Stevie has and things he has taught me how to use over the years. Stevie just thinks about things differently, and it's like his mind works differently from everybody else's. Well, definitely different from mine's anyway. I don't know how he does it. The man's an absolute fucking genius, and I'm very, very lucky to know him and very lucky to get to work with him in this band.
Where Stevie is sort of the complete opposite, not in the sense that Stevie has the ability to roll out a one-liner that'll absolutely kill you dead, but they're definitely the yin and yang, and it's a good dynamic to have in a band with two different opinions and two different styles, and when they bring that together, they really create magic within Sandstone.
Since the very beginning of Sandstone, I think it's always been clear that it's a songwriting partnership between myself and Sean. We first met at an open mic night in a local bar here in Derry, and straight away clicked and had it off over our shared interest of rock music and songwriting in general. When I found out that he wrote songs himself, I couldn't wait to get him down to my home studio so that I could record some of his songs. And those early demo sessions are what became Sandstone's first album, Tides of Opinion. And we've pretty much carried on in the same way ever since. We come down here to my studio, if Sean's got a song idea, if I've got a song idea, and we make a song. And that really is our passion, and we love to do that. There's nothing more exciting in life for me than to start with nothing and by the end of a session have a good song in the can. I love that. Quite a lot of people consider me to be a guitar player, and that's there's truth to that, of course, because guitar is my first instrument and I love the guitar. But I don't think of myself primarily as a guitar player. I think it's one of the things that I love. Other things are songwriting, arrangement, production, bass guitars, vocals, keyboards, drums. Every aspect, every ingredient that goes into making a song is something that I'm very passionate about, and particularly the music technology end of it. I quite often bore the pants off the rest of the band, enthusing about the next, latest, greatest piece of technology that I've got my hands on. I really do. My recording studio has been a passion project for most of my life. When I first learned to play the guitar, the very first thing I wanted to do when I had a guitar was write a song and record it. So I've never considered them to be separate enterprises. Recording and playing are one and the same thing for me. So we've always decided from the very start of the band that we want to be a pure cottage industry. We want to do everything ourselves. So we record the songs, we mix the songs, we master the songs, we design the artwork for the albums, we even take the photographs of the band for the albums ourselves, and it's even got to the stage now where we've bought recording equipment so that we can shoot our own videos. So we shoot our own videos now, and we edit the videos as well. So anything that you see or hear from Sandstone is 100% Sandstone. What you see is literally what you get.
Track 5.
What's track 5 again now?
Track 5 is
Spend all I had today on news I wouldn't read. You know who's on 44. The picture I now have of you on graduation day. I see you don't wear the ring, I got you anymore.
Made Up. Now, I really enjoyed working on Made Up because occasionally we do delve into a wee bit of classical guitar and strings and stuff, and I really like that about that song. That came about because I'm the classical guitar player in the band, but it was actually Sean that wrote the classical guitar part on that section, you know, and we decided to stick with the classical guitar approach on it because I liked the diminished chords that he was playing on it and stuff.
I don't know what the noise chord is, I just made it up.
Like that.
I mean that again was
I
one
see
that-
what you done there. See how slow I am at that.
you know?
Steve, will get down.
So that was one, trust me, that when it comes to what I wrote and what he ended up with was black and white, so definitely credit to Steve on the music for that one again, but can't make an omelette if they break it some eggs, as you say, ladies.
Oh, that's another cool thing about that song too, the way it goes, you know, it starts off classical but goes pure Megadeth in the middle.
Yep.
No, aye.
Very, very negative.
That's right.
Video incoming as well
That's right.
Yeah.
at some stage.
I know. I just can't decide on what go to it.
Featuring Big Tom Alford on the
aye.
cello.
Have you met him? Who? Thomas Alford.
No, the big blonde haired guy.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Aye.
Sometimes in the weekend he goes and plays cello and all.
He'd be standing beside the drums when we play a gig.
To the right?
The right is me, isn't it?
I
Your
don't,
right.
then I don't know him.
Your left would be D.
I can only see right.
Tom just sort of be slightly to your left. Sort of
He's
front of
the
drums.
reason you can't see me when you look like him.
Plays the bass guitar.
Ah, the white one.
No.
He's white.
I don't know him.
He is white.
Oh, he's white. I thought you meant the bass guitar. His
I
bass
thought-
guitar's not white.
Alright.
Anyway, that's Tom. He's on the video anyway. Tom, so is.
Long blonde hair.
Oh, good looking film. I do know.
No, he's alright.
Tommy, where do I start on Tommy? Well, you can see he's barely here. He can barely show up because he has to be the biggest or the busiest man in music. You know what I mean? He can play everything. He's super talented, and he's just a fucking lovely guy. You know, I don't think anybody has a bad word they say about our Tommy. And I miss Tommy. Where is he? Where the fuck is Tommy? Why is he not here? Tommy!
Tom is the teacher of the band. Tom is a fully trained classical musician. He makes his living working in a school, teaching music to children. He works in a orchestra, plays quite a few instruments. As a bass guitar player, he is fantastic. He's very influenced by Cliff Burton, and I think that shows a lot. And I think that's the influence most people would want their bass player to have. So he's a bit of a monster on stage with his big distorted bass guitar sound. And he's a very down-to-earth, nice guy. He is an absolute gentleman, which is a nice thing to have around.
Tom is just a monster on the bass. He's definitely one of the best musicians I've ever played with. It just goes down to his training and how he's taken playing bass as serious as he has. He makes a living out of doing it. He makes a living out of teaching it. And that's with that unit that we have, we're a formidable force, I think.
Tom Alford, again, as everybody else has said, unbelievably proficient musician. Every night, reliable, no bother off Tom, off stage, on stage, absolute gentleman. But probably one of the best things that's ever happened to the band in terms of keeping us going since he joined the band has definitely been Tom. And since he came in and he's toured with us as well, his confidence and everything about him has grown, and he's definitely up there with the best musicians around. He really is.
So when I'm not in gigging with Sandstone, I'd be teaching cello and double bass, and then I'd also occasionally be playing with various orchestras and musical theatre groups. Well, in terms of inspiration, it probably was whenever I first saw the Cliff and All video, and just thought, heck yeah, that's what I want to do. Well, what can I say about the other guys in the band? It's kind of really like, there's a fire and ice dynamic going on, and I kind of see myself as being that warm water just between it all. God, a tour story. Well, there's a lot that I can't say, but I do remember this one time at one of the truck stops where I left the heating on. Well, I think it was around 2014. I think I was at a party with Dee, and he took my number, obviously to pass on to Stevie as it was then. And I guess the next thing I was getting a call from him, had a whole bunch of prog metal tunes to learn, and well, here we are.
Desiree or Daisiri, something like that.
That's what track 6 is.
You'd think we would learn how to pronounce it, because I was watching a programme one day about film music, and apparently there's this famous piece of music that always appears in movies, and it's called the Daisiri, and it's like when you hear that music, it means the person you're looking at is about to die.
It's also the first song that I heard of the new album, and it hits hard, and it's great. It's probably the heaviest track on the album.
Yep.
And one that you change your vocal a lot on, I felt.
I kind of needed that though when we were doing it. I mean, I think I even toned that down. The label weren't too excited about me doing the screams, like, so we had to calm it down a bit, even though they still think it's too heavy. But I think the song sounds great. I mean, we wanted it to be the I think we had that when we were doing the first.
We did want it to be the first track in the album now,
and we got over
Just
on that one. We got
Kicking the
we got to the shush.
but that's a thing we do a lot, and we did it on a couple of other albums too, where we go too far and then we spend a bit of time sort of pulling it back.
Yep. And that's pulled back.
You don't know You don't know if you've gone far enough until you've gone too far.
So it's like we're still on about the song. No, we're not talking about when you pull them back. If you've gone on too far, you just pull it all forward again, and then you don't have to pull back so much. Feel like, especially if you go like to the end of a clip, they push back more.
Are you talking about foreskin?
Sheep.
Got lost there, but
That's not a bad comedy, so that's that track sorted then, isn't it?
Do you think we're going to do a video for that one?
oh,
You don't have to be on it. That's a good show. I like that
I'll
idea.
be on it. I'll do it myself.
That's actually a good idea.
Well, you just don't have to be in fractured time now.
I'll do that as well. You don't have to do that. I'll do that one.
Eamon is my boy on the road. He would keep things going with me in terms of keeping me smiling at least. Great drummer every night again. Proficient on the drums. Hits hard. Hits proper. Keeps everything in time. Off the road, or well, off stage, you don't really see too much of him. He's usually sleeping. But definitely good friend of mine. Pleasure having him in Sandstone.
Eamon McNaught, pious. Eamon McNaught. What can I tell you about Eamon McNaught? I have to say he's one of the... he has to be one of the fittest individuals I've ever come across in my life. And like when we were on that tour, he was doing an hour and a half set. What was it? We had we had an hour set, and then Ripper would come on and we would play with Ripper, and he would play for an hour and a half. Now I know we all did that, but he was playing drums. I don't know how that man managed to do it. I don't know where he gets his strength from, where he gets his energy from, and where he gets his drive really to learn. Because I remember when he first joined the band, there was a lot of songs, not a lot of songs, there was a few songs that they had drum parts on them that, there were things that he had never done before, you know what I mean? And it was really impressive to see how fast he picked everything up and how hard he worked to make sure that by the time he went on tour, everything was perfect. So you gotta love him for that,
Eamon is the mediator in the band. Quite often, if there is any kind of drama in the band, people would have a tendency to go to Eamon to talk about it. He's very level-headed, very down to earth and straight with you. He's not afraid to tell you if he thinks that you're in the wrong. And that can be a really good thing, and I really trust him for that. And it makes him a very important asset in the band. But boy, I've never seen anybody who can sleep as much as Eamon. It was a normal thing for us when we were on the road for Eamon to sleep all day, get out of his bed in time for the sound check, get some food, play the gig, and then go back out to the bus, straight to his bed, and sleep until the next sound check. But I suppose playing 3 hours of double kick drumming, as hard as he plays it, will do that to a person.
The way I approach playing drums, it's feeling first. I became Sandstone's drummer shortly after Delta Viridian was released. Playing that type of music, and that type of music, especially the type of music that was on Delta Viridian, was very challenging for me. It was progressive. It's the type of style that I like to play. I definitely push the envelope. My approach is, it's definitely, I hit hard. I play as fast as I can. I play with passion, and I play with heart, and I try to bring the best out of myself and the rest of the guys possible. I provide the backbeat, I provide the heart. I know that's my job, and I try to do that as proficiently as possible. The first real thing that made me want to be a drummer was, I'm not afraid to admit it, it's seeing the Eagles and Phil Collins. Blew me away. So Phil Collins playing In There in the Night when I was a child, it was whoo damn, had to play that. One of the best not risky stories that I can tell about being on the road. We were playing in Poland in 2014. We were supporting Tim Ripper Owens, and we had some really awesome gigs. Particularly this one was in Lublin in Poland. We rocked up to the gig and we didn't know that it was an outside open like amphitheater type venue. We set up our stuff and we did our sound check, and we went out and sort of chilled out the back. I probably went to sleep again. When I woke up, there was about 3,000 or 4,000 people out there waiting on us, and it was the biggest crowd that I had played in ever. It was one of the best gigs that we ever played.
Randy, Silhouettes Drown.
Oh, why?
I didn't even get to talk too much about Silhouettes Drown because on the interviews we all done singularly.
That's a word.
Is that a word? So singularly interviews. About the lyrics on that one was, as I said before about writing lyrics and things, I don't really get too specific about lyrics, but that one I actually was trying to remember what I was actually on about in that one, and I was watching, because you'll notice in the lyrics it talks about witches and all that kind of thing, and I was watching the Blair Witch, the re-release of the Blair Witch had come out that very week, where I had to write the lyrics and the melody for that song, and that was a wee bit inspired by that, because I had a bit of a fever dream about the Blair Witch when after that there, so I wasn't too well that week, and that's basically what Silhouettes Drown lyrics is about. So there you go.
Aye. It's another heavy song too, isn't it? Yep. Quite heavy.
Yeah. Was meant to
Proggy
be
as well.
track too.
Proggy in places.
Proggy in places. And that again, that's one of the. Isn't it 2 tracks in the album where I just give you music and you wrote?
Aye, that was one. That was the other one. That so Silhouettes Drown was there. Silhouettes Drown and Worn Soul was just given to me as music and like a 20-piece sandwich.
Yeah. I think by the time we had those 6 songs together, isn't that 6?
Exactly what you're counting here. You meant to keep us
Aye.
time.
I think by the time we had those 6 songs together, we pretty much knew that we were. Oh, this is definitely an album. You know what I mean?
Aye, yeah.
Since Dee's been in Sandstone, I think it's definitely brought more laughter, definitely on our group. Dee definitely lightens things up when we're on the road and things can get tough on the road. And Dee's definitely been good. Fantastic live performer. Every night Dee will bring his all, and definitely when it comes to singing as well, he's definitely good to help out on the nights that I'm not exactly on it. So Dee's been a fantastic addition to Sandstone, no doubt about that.
Dee is the friendly extrovert of the band. I suspect that quite a lot of the friends that we make on the road, we've only made as a result of Dee's outgoing, friendly nature. And that's very important for myself, because I'm a bit of an introvert, and so I'd be quite shy towards people. But Dee draws these people in towards the band, and it's a fantastic thing, and I really admire him for that. Over the years, we've become quite good friends. And Dee has the most fantastic memory I've ever seen in my life. He remembers every date, every place we've ever played. He remembers details that I've completely forgotten. And that has also been one of Dee's major assets, because when it comes to learning songs, I'm sometimes dumbfounded at how photographic his memory is, and how I can show him a lick once and then he can play it better than I can. It's bizarre.
With Dee is the lightning bolt in the band. He's the one that has the spark live, and he's the one that really makes you up your game live playing.
I hate these things, man. So when I'm not on stage playing in bands, I work in the film industry. I am a special effects technician. Basically, what that means is I don't actually know what it means. Most people, when I say I'm a special effects technician, think I do visual effects. Basically, they think we make dragons, but we do practical effects. So anytime you see fires, wind, rain, snow, pyro, so bullet hits, explosions, and yeah, that's about it. Anything really that moves and doesn't have a heartbeat on a movie set is a special effect. So it can be really fun things like big explosions, or it can be really boring things like opening and closing doors. I have worked on a few very interesting projects. The most popular one being Game of Thrones. That's the one everybody loves. As soon as they hear you work in Game of Thrones, they'll buy you a free drink, you know. But even more interesting than that, for me personally, was the new Apple TV show Foundation, which is based on the trilogy of books by Isaac Asimov in the 50s. Yes, I absolutely love touring. It can be very tiring and very stressful at times, like any other job, I suppose. And it can be, it can be the same thing. But I really enjoy touring. And when I am on stage, I love being on stage. And I think it doesn't matter if there's 4 people or 400 people or 4,000 people. I think they deserve to get the same show. So from start to finish, I will go completely crazy, because there's just something about standing on stage and playing music that you absolutely love. I feel like it deserves a performance. Do you know what I mean? You should really give it your all and just have a good time. I mean, if you're not having a good time, why the fuck are you doing it? Do you know what I mean? And then the people that are coming there to the gigs as well deserve to see a good show, whether there is 4 or 400, because they're the people that buy your albums. They're the people that buy the merch, and if they didn't do that, you would never be able to fund the tour. I'd say Sandstone will be on the road very soon. I think we've obviously had a very quiet spell recently. After I think our last big tour was in 2014. It was a tour we did with Tim Ripper Owens. So we've obviously been very quiet from them, but now with the new album coming out and all the new content and all the reviews that are coming in, and it seems like things are picking up again. And me personally, I can't wait to get back on the road again. After live gigs haven't really been going on for the last 2 years properly, and I miss it. You think you get bored of something when you do it so much, and then it gets taken away from you. And I cannot wait to get on the road again.
And one of the things that we wanted to do then was look back at previously written songs that we had never actually released before.
Which brings us neatly along to track 8.
It's
Critical.
That's 7, isn't it?
8.
This motherfucker can't keep time, man.
It's track 7.
Is it track 7?
That's track 7, because there's 8 on it, but the last one's a bonus. Aye. So no, me and Sean spent the night going back through listening to other songs that we had recorded that we had never actually quite finished. But a song that we had actually finished and released on an album was Critical. But when we rearranged the album for the Limb release, what album was that again? Purge in the Past?
Yeah, first Limb release.
Limb thought the album's too long, so we made it shorter, and that was one of the songs that we took off it because there are quite a lot of ballads on that album. That was criminal. I couldn't. No, I had completely forgotten that had happened, and I could not
Suddenly
believe.
For God.
I could not believe that
Well,
track
to be
had
fair
never
to
been
them,
released.
we had to choose between that and Sleep, didn't we? So,
Yeah.
Sleep
So
songs,
as soon as we realised that song was available and had never been on any of our albums, we thought, well, that has to go on the album.
Yeah. So we got to re-recording that one because the original one is quite different than what we've done.
It was good. We revisited and reimagined quite a lot of bits on it. So I'm happy that it didn't get re-recorded until now, because the new version is a lot better.
The new version is a lot better.
It will definitely give you goosebumps when you listen to it.
Especially in the cold.
Why in the cold?
Because you get goosebumps in the cold.
I was
guaranteeing
wrapped up
goosebumps.
in bed when I first heard it, and I was like, holy shit. No.
You're saying that theories at the moment about the goal.
Aye. Do you know when you get goosebumps when something just nice happens?
Oh, aye.
Like a wee stranger in the night?
Aye. And like Critical as well, another older song as well, as Stevie was saying in there, but again, when we got down to recording it as well, it was definitely one of the ones that I think we decided we didn't need any more, didn't we? Even though this album is only 45 minutes long and there's only 8 songs on it, we purposely stopped at that point because we've had albums before that were far more bloated, were like it was nearly an hour long and things like that. So we think this is definitely the best songs we have at the moment.
I know, you see, being an old boy, I sort of grew up listening to vinyl. Vinyl's always typically 40-45 minutes long. Can't really be any longer than that. And for me, I feel that that's the right length of time for an album. Even though you have the ability with CDs and MP3s and stuff nowadays to make albums far longer, I think trying to condense yourself into 45 minutes is a good format.
Yep.
So we sort of felt that.
What do you call the last one?
The last one.
What do you call it?
The last one.
You really have me going for like a
what do you call
fucking-
the last one?
The last
5
one.
minutes.
Bonus track, what do you call it? It is
Who's the
called.
bass?
Aye. No, the last one, I said Demon's Critical, and he was well, no, but what's the bonus one called? And said the last one. It was, I know, but the one after that there, what do you call it?
What's that called?
The last one.
Yeah, what's
The last
that?
one.
That's what we're talking
The
about.
last one is the last
And you
one.
only get to listen to it if you buy the CD. Buy
Yeah.
the fucking CD.
There is a sneaky way you can listen to it.
Is there?
Aye. It's,
Fucking tell me,
it's-
I wanna hear it.
It's on the building in my shed. But
Oh, is it?
when I bought my studio, I put it in the sneaky.
You put the last one on there?
Aye.
When you put the last one on there?
Aye.
Critical.
No, the last one. Aye, so it's called Epsilon Sky because it's our 5th album and it's got a blue sleeve.
That's the most fucking fuck off answer.
Gives a fuck. It's called Epsilon Sky. You write that down. We're away on.
It is just a title for an album, like, you know?
I love that. I actually love it though. I love the title. Yeah. Anyway, guys, are we done? Or are we not keep her left here?
Guys, thank you for sitting all the way through this. If you got this fucking far, fair fucking play to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the album.
We hope you do.
Because we do.
See you on the road. I'm busting for a fucking slasher. Was that started?
It's getting critical. I can't find the time. I would explain myself to you, and why I can't be
D is the gypsy of the band. He's the free spirit. He's world travelled. He's a great dude. Once you get to know him, you can't really talk to D for too long. It gets very boring very easily. Aside from that, he's he knows 3 chords on the guitar, which Stevie thinks is unreal. Stevie showed him his first 2. He learned a 3rd by himself, so it's hard to talk about Sean when he's sitting right there. Me and Sean have like a brotherly type relationship where we try and out funny each other just by making stupid comments to each other all day, every day. And I think in the band that keeps sort of us sane and keeps the rest of the fellas sane as well. Sean is a really good dude, but he has serious anger issues. See, I can't do it if he's laughing.
You can't be saying that shit about me, man. I'm going on that camera today, boys. Fuck you, Stevie.
Oh, Christ almighty. Right.
She's not even like sort of angry. She's fucking serious.
Right, I'll tone it down.
Right.
Sean has sort of serious anger issues. No, right, come on. Where was I on that? Let me see.
No anger issues.
No, I'm not going to.
Sean has 0 anger issues.
Sean is the most level-headed person that I've ever met. He has no anger issues whatsoever. Lad, come on, get out.